My name is Michael Wachtel. I'm the new chair of the company. As it's now 9:30 and a quorum is present, I declare the meeting open. Let me begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we work on. Our office here in Melbourne, and very near where we are meeting today, is on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We celebrate the stories, culture and traditions of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of all nations and pay our respects to their elders past and present. I'd now like to introduce you to our Board of Directors. On my right, Sally Freeman and Sarah Brennan. On my left, our founder Michael Heine, David Lewis and Kate Temby. Our CEO and Managing Director Matt Hine is on my right. Also joining us today are our Chief Risk Officer. In fact, I'll just refer to the slide. You've got Hayden Stockdale, our CFO, Jodie Henshin, CRO and other roles, Rita Harris, our Chair of Netwealth Superannuation Services, Lewis Bierman, the other Independent Director, and Lanny Cockram, our Lead Auditor from Deloitte. I also welcome all other Netwealth team members who are here today. We've got 7 items of business. The receipt of the annual report, the adoption of the REM report, the re-election of Sally Freeman, the re-election of David Lewis, the election of myself as a director, the grant of performance rights to our CEO and MD, Matt Heine, and the increase in the NED aggregate fee pool. Before we turn to the formal business of the meeting, Matt and I would like to take the opportunity to discuss the 2025 financial year, recent performance and outlook. We're happy to take any questions on the presentations when we consider the report. The 2025 financial year was another year of milestones and impressive achievements for Netwealth. Throughout FY25, inflation continued to decline, interest rates further moderated, which saw global equity markets continue their rebound over the year. These market dynamics delivered a 12.7% increase in the Australian platform market FUA to 1.25 trillion at 30 June 25. Net inflows for the industry were strong at 40.7 billion. Netwealth secured 38% of the industry net flows at 15.4 billion in the last financial year. Accordingly, Netwealth further increased its market share by 1% to 8.9%. Netwealth's total FUA, including market movement, increased by 24.8 billion, or 28.2% to 112.8 billion at 30 June. Is the sound all right? Okay. No. Sorry, the founder just asked to make sure the sound was all right.
You noticed.
Okay. So funds under management increased by 31.9% to 27 billion, with managed accounts increasing by 33.5%. Total income for FY25 increased by 27.1% to 324.4 million, primarily driven by the growth in FUA from both existing and new clients. EBITDA increased by an impressive 31.1% to 163.5 million. This was achieved through the EBITDA margin expanding by 150 basis points to 50.4%. Net PAT increased by just under 40% to 116.5 million. The board accordingly increased the dividend per share, reflecting the growth in profit. The declared dividends increased by 37.5% to 38.5 per share. I want to take a moment at this point to acknowledge the First Guardian matter and the impact it's had on our members. As per our recent communications with members and advisors, we continue to explore every avenue to support our members through this challenging situation. And we are working closely with the regulators, the industry and the government. Matt will speak in more detail on the work we are doing in this space. These strong results could only be delivered through an executive team focused on execution and delivery. The executive team has delivered consistent, growing and ongoing record results since the company's listing. The executive team has been supported by a collaborative and dedicated Netwealth team, now consisting of over 700 people. I also want to express my appreciation to Rita Harris and Lewis Bierman, the Netwealth Superannuation Services Directors, as well as thanking the trustee team for their leadership and oversight of the Netwealth Superannuation Master Fund. I want to also take this opportunity to thank my fellow directors for their dedication, insightful advice, and contribution to Netwealth governance since I took on the chair role. Finally, I thank our clients and shareholders. We look forward to working with you in FY26. I'll now hand over to Matt.
Thank you, Michael, and good morning, everyone. I'd also like to extend my welcome to you. My name is Matt Heiner. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of Netwealth. As you've just heard from Michael, we've had another very strong year building on our momentum and our positive market position. Pleasingly, this momentum has continued into this financial year, and the business is off to another strong start in terms of FUA growth and new business inflows. In FY25, our FUA grew from 88 billion to 112.8 billion, a growth rate of 28.2%. The 4-year compound annual growth rate is 24.4%. In the September 25 quarter, we had a record level of FUA net inflows of 4.1 billion, which was 1.6% higher than the September quarter last year, which was our previous record. FUA at the end of September 25 reached 120.8 billion. Our growth has occurred across all key market segments: the emerging affluent, the mass affluent, and the established affluent. This reflects our investment in products, services, and features that appeal to the relevant market segments and the advisors that service them. From a product perspective, we continue to see further growth in recently launched products, and FUA within our accelerated core product rose to 5.4 billion, and our non-custodial solution reached 900 million at the 30th of June 2025. This is an important chart that highlights the success of the Netwealth strategy, demonstrating the rotating from legacy platforms and, more recently, the industry funds. As a result of this ongoing trend, our market share at the end of June has grown to 8.9%. To put this into perspective, our market share was 4.8% 4 years ago. This shows the considerable progress that Netwealth, particularly compared to legacy platforms, which despite significant market share have generally experienced flat or negative net flows over this timeframe. We believe this trend will continue for many years to come, with our demographic and technological tailwinds supporting our ongoing focus on delivering market-leading products and services. If we turn to our strategy, as the platform and the industry continues to evolve, we remain focused on the customer needs and our ability to deliver quality solutions to meet those needs. To further capitalise on the opportunity in front of us, we've evolved our offering across 4 key domains which work synergistically with each other to collectively enhance the value we can offer to our customers. The domains are Wealth Solutions. This consists of financial solutions that we offer, including our flagship Super and Wealth Accelerator products, our managed account, and our global specialist solutions. Shortly, we'll also be launching Netwealth Private, a new service designed specifically for our high net worth and ultra high net worth customers. Wealth Tech includes our web-based and mobile native client and partner portals, as well as our underlying and customer-facing technology, which provides our people, investors and wealth professionals with client and data management, transactional and administrative capability. Insights and Analytics, which includes practice and business dashboards, leverage Netwealth's unified platform, as well as market-leading client reporting that can be customised to meet the varied and bespoke needs of investors and wealth professionals. And lastly, Partners and Integrations, which are accessed primarily through Wealth Exchange and provide access to a wide range of data and software integrations, as well as access to new partnerships including iCapital and FinClear, which were announced in September. We believe our ongoing investment in these domains is a powerful differentiator in the market, and looking forward, we'll continue to develop and invest into our core capabilities and systems. This includes some areas we previously outsourced to maintain our market leadership and scale in line with our ambitious growth plans. Australia's wealth management continues to evolve and grow, and today the platform market is 1.25 trillion and grew by 12.7% in FY25. We benefit from this growth, but also believe there are significant adjacent markets that present attractive opportunities. Currently, around 3.3 trillion is invested off-platform, and the superannuation system is now in excess of 3.9 trillion. To put it simply, there remains significant room to grow and plenty of runway left ahead of us. Further to this, in 2050, research suggests that there will be 7.2 million Australians with complex financial circumstances that will be seeking advice. Currently, as it stands, there is approximately 10 to 11,000 licensed advisors to service that number of clients. Advisors will need to be more efficient and they need to improve productivity. There will be a dependence and a need to leverage technology. For Netwealth, this is both the opportunity and also the challenge to enable our existing and new customers and partners to drive efficiency and to support them in managing more client relationships at scale. This remains a material opportunity and will continue to invest into the future. Our strategy and focus has been very clear and consistent. We're creating capacity within Netwealth and for our customers and clients. Internally, this includes reducing our reliance on third-party systems for core platform functionality and leveraging new technologies. We continue to invest in our technology, infrastructure, platform and capability, which underpins our growth. Importantly, we're starting to see real benefits from leveraging data, AI and agentic AI to drive efficiency, new services and scale-up support. We're rapidly increasing our share of the affluent advice market and recognise that to succeed, we need to invest in increasing efficiency in workflows that support advice and help advisors onboard and advise more customers. We believe that over the next few years, we can help advisors go from an average of 110 customers per advisor to 120 to 130 to 140 or more. Importantly, this is without impacting the quality of advice or the service that they provide, and that's where we're spending time to determine how we actually do this. The managed account solution continues to deliver very significant growth and efficiency, and we're in the process of completing a major upgrade which supports the ongoing scale of the service as well as enhancing the offer with new capability. On the previous slide, I outlined some sizable market opportunities, including a material opportunity we're progressing in pace in the private wealth and broking space. In the next few months, we'll be launching the first of our products for this important segment with the introduction of an individual HIN administration and reporting solution, and we're in active discussions with several brokers across the market. We have significant experience and capability within the high net worth and ultra high net worth space that we're excited to bring to the broking market and believe that the combination of our existing products, services and functionality is an exciting proposition and expect it will be very well received and adopted. As we grow and expand our offering, and as referenced by Michael, the First Guardian matter brings an even sharper focus to the need for us to be vigilant and continuously evolve our processes to protect our clients from a variety of threats we are witnessing across the market. We are deeply concerned about the impact of First Guardian collapse on our members, and we are working with the regulators and the government to resolve this matter. As you would be aware, this matter is extremely complex. ASIC is investigating superannuation trustees, including Netwealth, as well as a wide range of parties involved in the value chain, which include the lead generators and marketing firms who lured members into First Guardian, the financial advisors and advice licensees who recommend the product to their clients, the auditors who signed off on the valuations of the assets of the scheme, the ratings agencies who certified the investment as investment grade, and the responsible entity of the scheme, and the individuals who are responsible for the fraudulent activity at the heart of this matter. In an effort to resolve this for members, we have applied to the Minister for a grant of financial assistance. We've taken this step because we believe that the best way to support our members is to advocate for the government to remediate now and recover later, while the liquidators and ASIC continue their work. Given the complexity of this matter, it is clearly going to take a long time for that work to be completed. To be clear, we have not done this to avoid any responsibility or deflect blame from Netwealth. Should ASIC decide to bring a case against Netwealth, the company has the resources to honour any resulting obligation. We're incredibly disappointed that superannuation trustees like Netwealth have borne the brunt of the criticism for the Shield and First Guardian collapse. Whilst there are learnings for us from this matter, we don't believe it's reasonable or appropriate to place the entire responsibility on the trustee to make members whole in circumstances where a fraud has been committed, and there are various parties that we know have knowingly and actively contributed to this fraud. We will continue to advocate for those parties and hope that they are held account. However, our response to this matter will continue to be guided by what's best for our members, and we'll continue to keep you updated as the situation evolves. Our approach to building our business and pursuing our strategy is undertaken through our sustainability framework. Our core business is built on scalable leading technology and service offering. We recognise the importance of growing our business sustainably and the role we play in supporting our customers and building their financial future. There were two changes in the Executive Committee in FY25, with Hayden Stockdale joining as Chief Financial Officer following the retirement of Grant Boyle, and Lindsay Coates, who was promoted into the Executive Committee to lead our private banking and sales activity. John Hanrahan, who was the Chief Information Officer, announced his retirement, and this took effect in August. The group has appointed Nick Walker as Chief Technology Officer, and Nick will start with Netwealth next month. We look forward to welcoming him in due course, and we also welcome Jason Huddy to the Executive, who joined us this month in the newly created role Executive General Manager, Investment Solutions and Governance. The core business is supported in the following ways. Fostering diversity, talent and wellbeing underpins our inclusive, diverse and healthy workplace. We are fortunate to have a highly engaged workforce, and this is instrumental for the company to achieve its ambitions while growing at our current rates. We're genuine and transparent, and this needs to be the bedrock in how we operate with all of our stakeholders. We do not take for granted the trust our advisors and clients put in us to achieve their financial goals. Finally, we recognise the need to create a positive social and environmental impact. In the last financial year, we reduced our Scope 1 and 2 emissions to zero, primarily through the use of renewable energy across our workplace facilities. Some of our FY25 achievements are on the slide, and I encourage you all to read our corporate sustainability report, which you'll find on our website. Now turning to the outlook for this financial year. The momentum Michael spoke about has continued into this year. Total FUA just a few days ago was $123.8 billion and is up from the $112.8 billion at the end of the last financial year. We have experienced strong flows, our pipeline of new business remains robust, and importantly, we're seeing great conversion across all customer segments, with new advisor and licensee relationships being secured and accompanied with strong account growth. We're excited about the new offerings we're delivering this year, including the investments that we're making into our key market segments, including individual HIN and our new private wealth product. Indications to date suggest that this is going to be another very good year for Netwealth. From an outlook perspective, we believe that FUA net flows will be similar to what we've experienced in the last financial year, which were very significant in a historical sense. Total operating expenses in absolute dollar terms in this financial year are expected to be similar to last financial year, and we expect a very small increase in our CapEx of $1 million on the second half 25 run rate as we continue to invest into the business. This guidance was also reaffirmed at our Q1 trading update a few weeks ago. Our business remains highly profitable and with very strong EBITDA margins. There is a very strong correlation between our EBITDA and operating cash flow, which results in strong cash generation. Netwealth has very high levels of predictable recurring revenue, which we continue to diversify and enhance. The business has strong cash reserves and there is no debt on the balance sheet. Thank you very much to everyone that's attended today, and thank you to the fantastic Netwealth team, our executive and to the board for your commitment and hard work, and to all of our clients for your ongoing support. I will now hand back to our Chair, Michael Wachtel, for the formal proceedings.
Thank you, Matt. And before proceeding further, I'd like to discuss the procedures I'll follow today. I propose calling a poll on each resolution to be put at this meeting. The final results of the poll will be released to the ASX and will be displayed on the company's website as soon as they're available after the close of the meeting. A representative of our share registry, MUFG, will act as returning officer for the purposes of conducting and determining the results of the poll. Shareholders and proxy holders who are eligible to vote at this meeting have received a yellow voting card. During the meeting, I'll advise you when it's time for you to fill in your voting cards. If you need assistance filling in your voting card, please see MUFG staff at the registration desk outside of the room. MUFG staff will collect voting cards at the end of the meeting. Shareholders who have a blue card are eligible to speak but are ineligible to vote at the meeting. Guests holding a red card are ineligible to vote or speak at the meeting. If you feel you've got the wrong card, please go and see MUFG staff at the registration desk outside the room. After each item of business has been put to the meeting, I'll ask for questions. If you'd like to address the meeting on the item of business, please raise your attendance card and I'll call on you. Please then identify yourself by name and state and whether you're a shareholder or proxy holder. I want to make sure everyone's got time to register. Shareholders were sent a copy of the NOM and annual report or details of how to access these documents on October the 13th. Page 5 of the NOM had a minor error. The correct items were noted as having voting exclusions, However, the item numbers were incorrect. To confirm, voting exclusions apply to item 2, adoption of the REM report, item 6, the LTI incentive for Matt, and item 7 in regard to the NED aggregate fee pool. I apologise for that mistake. Unless there are any objections, I'll take the notice of meeting as read. Shareholders unable to attend the meeting had the option of appointing a proxy. Before a vote is taken on each resolution, I'll display on the screen the total number of valid proxies cast for that resolution and the manner in which they have been directed. These figures have been determined as at closing time for receipt of proxies, which was 9:30 on Monday, last Monday. I'd also like to advise the meeting that all eligible undirected proxies given to the Chair will be voted in favour of those resolutions, and this number will be displayed on the screen. I now turn to the first item of business, being to receive and consider the annual report. It's not a requirement that the annual report be formally adopted. However, all shareholders have the opportunity to receive and consider the report. We'll now take questions on the report, and I mentioned the lead auditor is here, and on the earlier presentations from myself and Matt. Are there any questions?
There's a question here.
Hi, Christine.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Christine Hayden, volunteer. Oh, thank you. Christine Hayden, volunteer, representative of Australian Shareholders Association, company monitor. And I'd just like to go back to First Guardian with just a little bit of a clarification, if I may. I know the company wrote to the government regarding the time frame that would be in place for the long haul, as I think Matt clearly explained, in an effort to speed up the mediation for the people, the unfortunate circumstances, the people that found themselves in unfortunate circumstances. Could you please give us any clarification of, if the government are not able to speed things up, do you have any intention of doing anything from Netwealth's perspective in speeding up the process as best you can? I know there are lots of players.
I'll just emphasise, as you saw in both on it's been released to the ASX and Matt's comments, we mentioned all the different players in the supply chain. With the level of complexity involved, the number of stakeholders, we've been very clear that we've dealt with the government, regulators, etc. on this matter. At this stage, it would be premature for us to say much more than that. There are too many moving parts in this very complex matter involving a number of different players for us to get ahead of ourselves and start having a prognosis on where things are heading. And that also might be disrespectful to the regulators.
Thank you, Chair.
Are there any other questions? No? Okay, thank you, Christine. We'll now move to the adoption of the REM report. I'll move to item 2, the resolution for the adoption of the REM report. The report's been made available or provided to shareholders together with the annual report. I'd remind shareholders that the vote on this resolution is advisory only and is not binding on the company. Please note that voting exclusions apply to this resolution as set out in the notice of meeting. Proxies have been lodged in respect to the resolution as displayed on the screen. Just giving you a moment to absorb the slide. Are there any questions on this resolution? There are no further questions, so I'll keep on going ahead with the business of the meeting. I now direct that the poll for adoption of the REM report be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting card in respect to this resolution. Just giving you time to fill in your card. I'll now move to item 3, the resolution for the re-election of Ms. Sally Freeman as Director. I'll ask Sally to address the room briefly and make some comments on her re-election. Sally.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Pleased to offer myself for re-election today. I joined the board some 6 years ago, and during that time I have served as your Audit Committee Chair, and I am a member of the Compliance and Risk Management Committee, the Remuneration Committee, and the Nomination Committee. I also serve on the board of Netwealth Superannuation Services and its board committees. As detailed in my curriculum vitae in the notice of meeting, I bring to the board extensive directorship experience and over 30 years of professional consulting expertise in audit, governance, and risk management, and that was in relevant sectors including IT, superannuation, and financial services. It is an honour to offer myself for re-election today. I'm confident that I possess the skills and experience to continue making a valuable contribution to the board, and with your support, I look forward to continuing to serve shareholders' interests.
Thank you, Sally. The slide will show the proxy votes received on this matter. Are there any questions on this resolution? Christine.
Thank you, Chair. I can either, through you, if I could ask the question to Sally direct or whichever way you want to respond. Australian Shareholders Association's view is that Sally has, I think, 5 board positions and is on a number of committees and quite a few subsidies of Netwealth. Our concern, we're probably going to say, Sally, we see you right at the sort of top of the workload that you might experience. And it's fine where everything is ticking along very well and there's no major issues. But if something happens in one of those companies that you're a director for or anywhere else that may take your attention, we consider you at the sort of top end of the workload. So we'll ask you to please consider not taking on any more work, if you wouldn't mind. Thank you.
I'll take on the questions.
Sure.
Comment, right? Sally's board load is within the 5 board limit, commonly considered to be reasonable, but only one of her other board roles is an ASX-listed company. If you look at her FY25 attendance record, she had a 100% attendance record at a total of 47 board and committee meetings. That's 16 board and 31 committee meetings. So I acknowledge your question and I understand the background to why these questions are posed. But in this particular instance, as the new chair, I'm very comfortable with Sally's workload. And that's reflected not just in my few months as chair, but also reflected in me looking at the past and her commitment and rigour and the role she plays on the Netwealth board. Any other questions? Okay. If there are no further questions, I now direct that the poll for re-election of Sally Freeman be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting card in respect to this resolution. We'll move on to item 4, the re-election of David Lewis. I'll now invite David to address the room and make some brief comments on his re-election.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm David Lewis, and I'm pleased to offer myself for re-election today. I've served as a director of Netwealth and its predecessor company since 2009. During that time, I've served a number of roles, including chair of the Compliance and Risk Management Committee, chair of the Remuneration Committee, member of the Audit Committee, and member of the Nomination Committee. I'm pleased to put myself forward for your consideration. I believe I have the skills and experience to continue to make a worthwhile contribution to the board, and with your support, I look forward to continuing to serve in the company's interests. Thank you.
Thank you, David. The board, recommends that we vote in favour of this resolution. Are there any questions? And you can put the proxies on the slide, please. Okay. As there are no further questions, I direct that the poll for re-election of David Lewis be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting card in respect to the resolution. Thank you. As the next resolution relates to my election as a director, I'll hand over to Sally Freeman, the chair of our Audit Committee, to manage the proceedings for this resolution. Over to you, Sally.
Thank you, Michael. As Michael indicated, the next item we have is item 5, the resolution for the election of Michael Wachtel as a director. The board, excluding Michael, unanimously recommends that shareholders vote in favour of resolution 5. Proxies have been lodged in respect of this resolution as displayed on the screen. Are there any questions on this resolution? As there are no questions, I now direct that the poll for the election of Michael Wachtel be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting cards in respect of the election of Michael.
Sally, to be consistent with the two directors, I thought I should just make some comments about myself. But they're brief. They're brief. Okay. It's a privilege to offer myself for election today. I've been a director of Netwealth since June 25 and became chair on 1 September. I also chair the Nomination Committee. I'm a member of the REM Committee and the People and Corporate Sustainability Committee and NILS Investment Committee. I also serve on the board of Netwealth Superannuation Services. Over my multi-decade career, I've gained global business experience in organisational leadership, M&A, finance, risk management and governance. And through serving on the Future Fund Board of Guardians for 9 years, I have experience in global markets, geopolitical and monetary policy trends. The notice of meeting has much more content on my experience and background. I believe I have the skills and experience to make a valuable contribution to our board, and with your support, look forward to continuing to work on your interests. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you, Michael. Is there any questions following Michael's brief introduction of himself? If there are no questions, I would ask that you please fill in your yellow voting card in respect of the election of Michael Wachtel. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Sally. Moving on to item 6, which is the approval of the CEO and Managing Director's Long-Term Incentive Award and grant of performance rights. As part of Matt Hinder's annual annual REM package, it's proposed that he be granted a long-term incentive of 30,926 performance rights with a 3-year performance period. The number of performance rights that will ultimately vest will depend upon the extent to which certain gateway and performance conditions are satisfied over the relevant performance and deferral periods. Full details of the terms of this grant are contained in the notice of meeting. If Resolution 6 is passed, the company intends to grant the performance rights to Matt Heine soon after the AGM. The board, excluding Mr. Heine, recommends that shareholders vote in favour of this resolution. Please note that voting exclusions apply to this resolution as set out in the NOM. Proxies have been lodged in respect to this resolution as displayed on the screen. Just giving you a moment to absorb the content on the screen. Are there any questions on this resolution? As there are no further questions, I now direct that the poll for the grant of performance rights to the CEO and MD be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting card in respect to the resolution. Thank you. We now move on to item 6, which is the increase in the non-executive directors' aggregate fee pool. The resolution to increase the NED aggregate fee pool from 1.5 million to 1.75 million is the proposed resolution. Please note that voting exclusions apply to this resolution as set out in the NOM. Proxies have been lodged in respect to this resolution as displayed on the screen. I'll give you a moment to absorb the content on the screen. Are there any questions on this resolution? Christine.
I'm a bit disappointed I'm the only one asking questions. Come on, where's everyone else? We note from the skills matrix that's in the report that I think Director Sally Freeman is the only person with the highest level of expert skill on tech and cyber. In terms of the increase in the non-executive directors' fees, I presume that at some point you may be looking for another director, and if that's the case, would you please focus a little bit on the cyber and tech skills, because that's really important these days, and we're assuming that that's what your intentions are.
Let me just maybe clarify one aspect of before I answer your question, and that is, as you know, I've been on the SEEK board for probably close to 8 years, and therefore have had a very deep involvement as a board member on that board in terms of a tech platform, obviously quite relevant to maybe why I end up being the chair here as well. So I think we do have skills across the board over and above, I think, the way you describe it is my personal view. The issue of whether you bring on a board member with very specific skills, I'll use cyber as an example. Some people think they bring on a cyber expert to the board. At this stage, our view is where we can buy in the expertise by way of example of a cyber expert, and that could apply to a particular area of law and certain other areas. At this stage, we aren't committed to necessarily filling an extra slot with a person who might have tech or cyber background. But having said that, once again, your question is entirely valid because it's something that we've discussed. It's something I inquired about before I became a board member. So it's something which I think from time to time will come up, but at this stage, we certainly don't have a view that final slot, if we chose to fill it, necessarily goes to a tech/cyber person. I totally understand where you're coming from, and something we continue to address.
Thank you, Michael, for your explanation and your forthcoming in this regard. Thank you. Thank you.
No other questions? As there are no further questions, I now direct that the poll for the increase in the non-executive directors' aggregate fee pool be taken. Please fill in your yellow voting card. Okay. Before I close today's AGM, I ask everyone to complete their yellow voting cards and hand them to an MUFG team member who'll collect the cards. I'm just going to pause briefly for registry to collect the cards. Thank you. Yeah. I now declare the poll closed. And before concluding the meeting, I just want to thank you both as the new chair for your attendance, level of interest, and also, sorry about that, I might just wait a moment. Is there a latte or cappuccino?
I'd like a latte, please.
Sorry, board members must serve themselves.
There too.
I just wanted to thank you all for your attendance, and certainly since I've taken on the role of chair, I particularly want to emphasise my appreciation to my board colleagues for their support in my new role. And I also want to thank you for putting up with me coughing partway through most of the meeting. I can assure you if this meeting was held 2 weeks ago, it was a lot worse. That concludes the formal business of this year's AGM. I declare the meeting closed, and feel free now to serve yourself and some coffees. Thank you.